Come on, Alex. Hang in there. Just don't look down. Ah! I looked.
What a predicament!
Welcome to What a Predicament, a podcast that pries, prods and probes the predicaments of the modern day and age, coming to you live from the top of Auckland's Sky Tower. It's a long way down, folks. My name's Alex Bain, and today we're looking at the liquor, debating the drink. As Homer Simpson famously said, it's the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. The proverbial snake eating its own tail. Yep, alcohol. You know alcohol, those drinks containing ethanol, a depressant which in low doses causes euphoria and reduces anxiety, and in high doses causes intoxication and unconsciousness. Alcohol is formed when yeast ferments the sugars in different food. She is a cruel mistress, classed as a sedative hypnotic drug, which means it depresses the central nervous system. But not just the central nervous system, it's literally a poison with a potentially lethal sedative effect at high doses, and it has negative effects on the health of every organ in the body. Despite this, booze has been enjoyed by people going back to the late Stone Age 10,000 BC. It's not especially good for you. While we can buy it over the counter here in NZ, albeit with restrictions, it's currently illegal in a bunch of countries. But they're the exception. Prohibition has been adopted and abandoned all over the world. We just can't quit. Why we seem to have a biological impulse to get rickety wrecked is the topic for another day. Today, we're just going to peer into the predicament of organic compounds with molecules containing one or more hydroxyl groups attached to a carbon atom. Alcohol. Like every episode of What a Predicament, I'm going to ask the experts, and who knows more about hooch than writers. To quote William Faulkner, "The tools I need for my trade are paper, tobacco, food, and a little whiskey." Dorothy Parker penned, "Three be the things I shall never attain: envy, content, and sufficient champagne." And Hemingway wrote, "I have drunk since I was 15, and few things have given me more pleasure. When you work hard all day with your head and you know you must work again the next day, what else can change your ideas and make them run on a different plane like whiskey? When you are cold and wet, what else can warm you?" The great wordsmiths seem to love the liquor, so I got in touch with What a Predicament's first ever guest, the William Shakespeare of writing, decorated ad man Scott Armstrong.
Jesus, that's a bit much, Alex. Hello, I'm Scott Armstrong, and I have a depressed central nervous system.
To make the following experiment adhere to the scientific method, I needed another guy with a way with words, so I commissioned the services of one David Barry Gear, a fellow Don Draper type with a celebrated career in the ad game. Hello, Dave.
Aloha.
With these two dyed-in-the-wool writers, I can begin this entirely above-board battle of the booze. Like Rasputin, who allegedly ingested small amounts of poison to immunize himself, they too will intentionally poison themselves, going straight to the top with the most sold alcoholic beverages in the country, beer and wine. Dave will be drinking beer, a beverage fermented from grain mash, barley, or a blend of several grains flavored with hops. Scott will be on the wine, a fermented beverage produced from grapes. In order to truly get to the bottom of just how detrimental the effects of liquor can be on the senses, each participant has been bequeathed an equal amount of standard drinks. Our two brave competitors will answer consecutive rounds of thirst-quenching questions, with a standard drink or so being ingested between rounds to see just how their respective refreshments affect their ability to answer, and reveal which is the greater of two evils. All in the name of science, people. These guys are willing to put their health and reputation on the line. They're the modern-day Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Speaking of Armstrong, Scott, the segue has spoken, so we'll start with you.
Smooth.
As our resident wine connoisseur, how many grapes does it take to produce one bottle of wine?
It'd be more than one, and I'd go with... So are we talking bunches or individual grapes?
What are the number of grapes?
Number of grapes. Oh, wow. For a bottle, I'd say... gosh, it must be 1,000.
1,000 final answer?
1,000 final answer, 1,000.
Ooh, we'll have to give you a big wow on the first one. It's only around 600 to 800. Certainly less than 1,000.
Oh, what an idiot.
200 out.
So it'll be interesting to see how the wine affects your score, whether it starts enhancing your ability or impairing it further.
I think I know which way this will go, but let's see how it pans out.
David, your first question. Beer was first produced in bottles or cans?
Ooh, I just realised my last name rhymes with beer. I am going to say bottles. And I have no pre-ramble because I don't really know.
That is 100% correct. It was bottles bottles in 1850. Cans weren't until 1935.
Fuck it, I thought it was going to be a trick question.
Well, I'd just like to add, there wasn't a aluminium smelter in TY until like the 80s, so
80s.
Where are they getting their cans from? Camalco.
So now we have a drink and see how your respective beverages reflect on the next round. Round 2, we're back after a standard drink each. So let's see how that will affect the scores. We're currently sitting at 0-1 with beer out in front. Let's get into it. Scott, avocado is an Italian wine term meaning A, medium sweet, B, luscious, C, sweet, or D, dry. That's avocado.
Sorry, can you spell that for me, please?
A-B-B-O-C-C-A-T-O.
Avocado.
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 Grazie.
A, medium sweet, B, luscious, C, sweet, or D, dry.
Man. Now, I saw a book out there just before when we had a little break. Italian in 15 minutes. I really wish I had spent that 15 minutes reading that.
It sounds like obrigado, which is thank you in Brazilian.
Yeah.
Or Portuguese, should I say? That doesn't help.
I'm trying to sort of deconstruct that word. Avocado? Abrucato.
Avocado.
Avocado. Wow. I'm just going to go for the first option, which is medium sweet, I think.
You're locking in A, medium sweet?
Lock it in, Eddie.
You sure you don't want to change your answer?
Can I phone a friend?
Do you have any friends?
No.
Well, that's all for the best because medium sweet is 100% correct.
Yes. Fuck you, beer. I mean, oh, yes.
David, New Zealand's first commercial brewery was established in 1835 by Joel Samuel Pollack. But where? Where in New Zealand was the first commercial brewery set up?
1835.
Yep, way back in the day.
Like the sealers, the whalers.
Mr. History.
Yeah. It's like I've got a history degree or something.
It'll come in handy. Did you do a semester on Joel Samuel Pollack?
I did 3 years on beer.
Big student loan's about to pay off. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. 1835, the first brewery.
What New Zealand town or city?
Okay, I am going to... The obvious one is to go like Russell or far north, but I'm actually going to go for down south and a place which I'm not a big fan of, Nelson.
Final answer?
Final answer.
The correct answer was Russell.
Well, as I said, very educated. Russell was like named in, was it Darwin when he came here, or was like one of the roughest towns ever been in the world.
Yeah.
Well, did he name it after Russell Crowe?
No, it was Russell Rooster, actually.
Yeah, Russell Rooster would just rape and pillage all the local women.
Yeah, seemed like a nice guy on the TV3 shows in 89, but actually, real vicious piece of shit.
The cock on him. Oof.
We're all evened up here. We'll see how another drink serves the scores. It is round toru, and we are one apiece. Speaking of numbers, Scott, roughly how many bubbles in a bottle of champagne? Just roughly. I'll take a rough answer.
Oh, that's easy. That's 5,375.
You can round it to the nearest number that ends in a 0. If
I'd
you
rather not, thanks.
So what number did you just say?
5,375.
Final answer?
Can I phone a friend?
I don't know. Can you?
I'm doing it now.
May I phone a friend?
Hi, this is David Barrett Gears. Phone. Please leave a message
Great.
and I'll get back to you. Cheers.
At the tone, record your message.
Hello, David. It's Scott here. I hope you're having a pleasant evening. I need to know how many bubbles are in a bottle of champagne. Could you phone me back urgently? Thank you.
That guy needs a new message.
Alex, is it okay if we just wait for David to call? I'm sure he won't be far away.
Yeah, we'll give it a wee while. Keep in mind there are a lot of bubbles in a bottle of champagne.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to revise my answer. Got to be like 125,000.
125,000 is dead wrong. It's closer to 49 million.
I was going to say million.
That's pretty close.
How do you record, who counts the bubbles?
David, what country has the most individual beer brands?
Oh. Beer brands. Most beer brands. Well, Canada probably has the most beers as in animals, but beer brands. Oh, I am going to. Oh, I'm thinking it's European, and this is going to bite me in the ass because it'll be United States of America. But I am going to say the Germans. Final answer.
You're damn close geographically. It's Belgium.
Hate the Belgians! Hate them! I was going to mention them as well.
There are 400 at least individual brands out of Belgium. That was a very numbersy round. 49 million and 400, respectively.
I'll give you a number, Alex.
Yeah?
I need another beer.
I thought you were going to say you need another number one.
We are back, a little bit worse for the wear. Scott, the export industry is very important for New Zealand wine due to our small local population.
Correct.
Which country is its biggest sales market? A, Australia, B, USA, C, the UK, or D, China? What's our biggest sales market for our wine exports?
I was thinking the UK. Before you actually listed the options, I was thinking UK, because I know that for a long, long time, New Zealand has exported wine and other stuff to Britain.
They're like our butter and stuff.
Yeah, and before the European
Rugby
Economic
players.
Community, or was it the Closer Economic Community or whatever it was, came out in 1972, which then became the European Union. Before that,
and Irish Lions.
yes, before that, New Zealand was a huge exporter to Britain, and then they basically shut the door on us in the early 70s and decided to trade with, France and Germany and Spain and Portugal and Italy. And so by that logic, and I think I'm probably building this up to the entirely wrong answer, but I'm going to go with the UK. I don't think Australia would buy that much of our wine because they produce such great wine themselves. China could be, but I don't know about that. What was the other option? US?
USA.
I know we do export some wines to the US, and I know that New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc is the best Sauvignon Blanc in the world, apparently. Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc is the best Sauvignon Blanc on earth.
Boo Marlborough.
But I reckon the UK would be our biggest export market for wine.
I'd guess Australia. That's what I
Would you?
guess. Yeah.
Do you want to double down on that one? Is there some way we can sort of redo the scoring so that if he's wrong, I get 2 points? Or
Well, are you going to accept his answer of Australia?
no?
Or
No, I'm not.
are you doubling down on UK?
I'm going to go UK.
You're locking in C, UK.
Going to do it.
The biggest export market for New Zealand wine is
Australia.
the USA.
Oh, wow. Oh, we're both wrong.
Now, Dave, as an uncle, you might know this. Which contemporary Academy Awards winning actor, so which actor with an Oscar has a nephew named Miller Lite?
Wow.
It's contemporary, so it's not like Golden Age or anything.
No.
It's someone within the last...
Few years?
Yeah.
Not like a 1920s silent star.
It's
or
not.
something.
It's not. It's not James Cagney.
Is it spelled...
Miller Lite. See?
Is it,
Miller, come here.
is it spelled Miller as in Millerlite, like
It's
the beer?
actually spelt Millerlyte. Miller Lite.
So it's like your Porsche where it's Porsha or something.
Wow.
It's
something-
a more classy version.
nephew, though, so it's not, because the first thing you'd think it's like Gwyneth Paltrow, because her and dickhead Chris Martin named the kid Apple, and he wouldn't drink, though, so, wow, nephew Miller Lite,
Someone who's won an Oscar, and as for acting,
and it's a dude, and
It's not MC Light, is it?
Daniel Day-Lewis just retired from acting, but I don't,
you reckon Daniel Day-Lewis has a nephew called Miller Lite?
well,
Sounds plausible.
I mean, the man's a cobbler by trade. Maybe it's a type of shoot. No, okay. Let's think of someone from the United States of America, obviously, who is, or maybe Canada. Who's won an Oscar? I know who I'm going to go. He finally won an Oscar after years of missing out, and all the girls go, oh, when he is on the screen, even though he's a bit of a chub now. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio, I can see where you're going for, but he is no Matthew McConaughey.
All
Who has
right,
a nephew?
all right. Wow.
Miller Lite, all right, all
Miller
right.
Lite.
Man, that is...
But now that you know, you can sort of see it. Like,
Oh, I can see it.
hey,
And
Miller.
I'm shedding a tear for that poor man's life.
Did he do it for a deer? Or actually, was he paid? Was it a product placement?
Oh, interesting. Wow.
If you thought that was interesting, just wait for round 5, which is next.
Christ.
We're all tied up at 1-1. Question 5. Mr. Armstrong, which person featured on New Zealand currency was an active part of the anti-alcohol temperance movement? Which face you may have seen on New Zealand currency?
Let's go $10.
Ah, you mother...
No, go on, continue.
No, I want to follow your line of thought.
Okay, I was going to say Kate Shepherd. Although,
You sure it was an Aparananata?
no. I'm not.
Who on the money was a big killjoy?
I heard that the Queen, she's not a fan.
I might be being a bit unfair and
Also,
a bit
has Prince Philip
presumptuous.
died yet? Is that...
So Kate Shepherd was the temperance movement, right? So,
I'm the
Kate
one with the
Shepherd.
history degree, so apparently Kate Shepherd temperance.
If you'd like to help me earn a point,
Phone a friend?
No, well, I'm trying to help you, as in like Queen Elizabeth,
Okay.
the second.
no, wait. I'll just look into my wallet for reference here. Definitely not him.
By the way, he's pulling out. He's got a $1 note. That's old school.
Oh, look, I keep one of everything just in case.
A $2 note.
You never know when you might need it.
He's got a couple of 1 and 2s.
Okay, so I'm looking at Edmund Hillary here, and I'm thinking, well,
You can't climb Everest without a few.
I'm gonna go with
Catherine?
Kariaria, which is a very judgy-looking parrot on the $20 bill. Kariaria.
Not
New
Catherine
Zealand's native
Shepherd.
bird.
No, I'm going to go with Kate Shepherd.
It is Kate Shepherd.
Yes,
Boo, Burns.
of course it was.
Mr. Gear.
Hola.
What do the P's and Q's in the saying, mind your P's and Q's, stand for? P's and Q's. Keeping in mind the topic that we're discussing today, how could P's and Q's possibly be involved?
Yep, that's a good one because I am
pepperonis, and Q's a hard one.
P's and Q's. I'm guessing, like, I'd obviously, mind your P's and Q's, I'd be like pints.
You might be onto something there.
But I don't think that's what it is, because it's old school. P's and Q's.
Pints and quarts?
Oh, pints and quarts? Yeah. That's definitely a beer answer. Mind your P's and Q's. Q's. It's not Queens, so...
Something similar, though.
Yeah.
Starts with Q.
There's a couple of... I have no idea, Alex. P's and Q's. I've heard that saying my whole life, and I've never actually wondered what it meant. I was thinking it's like pears and something, but no. Let's just go, pints and quarts.
Well, that's a shame because the correct answer is pints and quarts.
Really?
Back in the day, in English pubs, rowdy patrons were told to mind their pints and quarts and settle down, thus mind your P's and Q's.
Woo!
Those guys who were especially rowdy, they were saying, mind your pints and quarts, mind your...
Wow.
I'd like half a point for
I was going to
mentioning
say,
quarts.
Mr.
That one.
Armstrong kind of gave me a little help. But then again...
This is going way better than expected, though. We're 2-2, which this is like...
This is like the America's Cup, except less bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, let's consume another standard drink and see just how that affects the scores. So far, our two competing beverages are equally matched at 2-2. So, Senor Armstrong, how long did Prohibition last in the US?
Right, okay. So it came in around about 1920-something. What was it, 21? About 21. And it actually, you know what? Prohibition
In fact, I think
ended.
it came earlier than that, Scott. Didn't it come just after World War One?
No, I reckon... Actually, I'd
20?
say 1920.
Yeah,
I'd say 1920 was the start. And the reason it ended was around about the time when the major depression came along, the stock market crashed in 1929, and people went, you know what, we've got to deal with this, so the entire economic collapse of the US, and we can't drink? Fuck off. So they would have started to drink again, officially, around about 1929-30. I'm going to go 29.
Whew. You reckon it lasted 9 years?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What do you think?
Oh, I think it lasted like maybe 4 or 5 years. Like I'd say like 1920 to like 25, max.
I bet however long it was, it felt a lot longer.
It's like, how in New Zealand we had prohibition. I hope this is not the next question for me, Alex, but we had prohibition here, and there was dry places into well into the 1900s in New Zealand, like Tawa, out west. That's why we have the trust out west in Auckland. Couldn't drink. Mount Albert was a dry zone for many years.
What's your what were you calling? About 9 years?
I'm going to go around about 19...
He's going the 20s. He's going the entire 20s were dry in the States.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. 1922, around about 1929, maybe 1930. No, actually, that can't be right. Prohibition. No, honestly, they would have... There was too much bad stuff going on in the States, and they had to smash it, and it would have been about 1929, 1930.
So how many years do you reckon?
10 years.
Not too bad, but it was actually 13 years, 10 months, 19 days,
Wow.
17 hours, 32 and a half minutes.
Wow.
I was going to say that, but
So just shy of 14 years.
Was it like 1919 or 1918 or something then, Alex?
a better podcaster than I would have found those dates.
okay.
I just found the...
Man, I watched Boardwalk Empire as well, and that's all about that. But I thought it was quite short.
Nucky.
But no, Nucky. Yeah.
I think things
Al
reached a
Capone.
point in that country that, things were so bad, they went, well, we can't
Maybe they
We
should.
can't be banned from drinking as well as all of this other horrible shit that's going down.
Maybe they should do prohibition now because things are pretty bad. So maybe
Do you reckon?
they just give it up and then they'll get.
they've got a sober leader in charge, so
Well,
I'm
that's
sure
the first
everything's on the
problem.
right track.
Well, it's no Bill English from Dipton.
This has become a particularly scary and horrible podcast.
Speaking of particularly scary and horrible, Senor Gear. According to the code of Hammurabi of ancient Babylonia, about 1750 BC, a merchant,
that guy.
a merchant caught diluting beer.
Oh,
What could happen to them if
he's
they were
in big
caught
trouble.
diluting beer? What would the punishment be at the time for the ancient Babylonians?
I remember these days. I think I was about 5 when this happened. I saw a guy in the local
Throwback Thursday.
Babylonian Square. If you got caught diluting the beer, I'm pretty sure that you would have been stoned to death.
Which was legal back in those days.
I believe it's still legal in Southland.
They could still roll up a bifter and get stoned.
Babylonia, yes, stoning. I'm going, stoning. Maybe
$20,000 worth of Otago University education.
I know, but I didn't
Ladies
study
and gentlemen, here we
Babylonia.
go.
I'm going to say you were tied up and stoned to death, Alex.
Well, I don't specifically know the cause, but I do know that the sentence was death. Yay!
Yes! That's kind of right. Woo. Yeah.
It's death, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with round 7 in just a moment. We are getting near the end. We are currently 3-2 to beer.
Woo!
Beer winning. Currently, wine is worst in terms of its detriment to the health of our country and our podcast. Scut. In 2015, the World Health Organization reported New Zealand was ranked the 11th in the world in a list of total alcohol consumption per capita in OECD countries.
Zealand.
New Zealand's number 11. To put it in perspective, Ireland was number 12.
Oh!
New Zealand's 11 in terms of total alcohol consumption per capita. So who do you reckon's number 1?
I just want to dwell on that for a moment.
We bet Ireland.
We bet
At
Ireland.
drinking.
New Zealand beating Ireland at drinking. What is going on? So we're 11th. Ireland's 12th.
Who's number 1?
Who's number 1?
If you average it out, most piss per person.
Piss per person.
I have an idea.
On average. Well, it's got to, I mean, we're looking at, China, India, USA, in terms of numbers.
But it's per population, right, Alex?
It is the total alcohol consumption per capita.
Yeah,
per capita.
In
Yeah.
OECD countries.
In OECD?
Yeah.
Oh, no, okay. Oh, yeah. This is going to go to Scandinavia.
Oh, that's what I was
And
thinking.
I'm going to say Sweden.
It's not
Could
what I
be
would've
Finland, but I'm
Final
going to say
answer.
Sweden. Although Finland's quite close to Russia and they've got a really good per capita consumption themselves.
And also, I'll give you
Oh.
my guess, my hint. I'm not sure if this is right, but maybe a smaller country than Sweden. Of
I
the
think-
Scandos, or maybe not necessarily a Scando country, but it might sound
The
like one.
Scandies drink a lot of piss because
It's freaking cold.
They're
It's fucking
Vikings.
cold.
They're Vikings.
Yeah.
Ragnar Lothbrok.
yeah. No, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go Sweden for the win. Lock it in, Eddie.
Question 7. You said Sweden. The correct answer is
It's not Luxembourg.
the Czech Republic.
Oh!
So geographically, you're on the right track.
I was thinking Luxembourg. That's what I would have guessed. Apparently in Prague is cheaper to buy a beer than a Coca-Cola.
That's why the kids' teeth are so nice.
They're so nice, and the Czech women are bella bella.
Check, please. And Dave, long-term heavy alcohol consumption can cause A,
Awesomeness.
pancreatitis.
Yes.
B, heart disease, heart attack, and cancer.
C.
C, high blood pressure and alcohol abuse.
Mahalo.
Apparently, a symptom of alcohol abuse is alcohol abuse, but that's fine.
Okay.
Or D,
Makes
all of
sense.
the above.
Well,
Pancreatitis, heart disease, heart attack, and cancer, high blood pressure and alcohol abuse, or all of the above.
okay. Well, this is a tough one.
What have you found personally?
How's your pancreas?
I thought they removed it. That was a big
You
night.
don't know. You don't remember.
Well, it was a big night on the. It was a big night on the Czech Bears. No, I would have to go. It's the obvious answer, and it is the initial of my first name, David, as in A. No, D. All of the above.
You reckon D, all of the above?
Yep.
Hedging his bets.
D's do not get degrees, but yes, D.
You said D.
Yeah. It's
The answer is actually D, all of the above.
yay! Whoop, whoop.
Over time, heavy alcohol consumption can cause a number of problems,
what a
including
victory.
pancreatitis, cirrhosis, alcoholic hepatitis, heart disease, heart attacks, some types of cancer, and high blood pressure.
Yay!
Our final scores were sitting on 2 for wine and 4 for beer.
Unfairly.
Wine is proving the most harmful. Do we want to go to a tiebreaker?
Well, we're not
there's
tied,
really a
but why
tie.
not?
There's not a tie, but
Right.
I have one more question.
What about whoever gets this right wins?
I think that's what he's actually suggesting.
Well, fuckface. I'm just giving you the opportunity to win here. I could eat like last try wins.
In just one standard drinks time, we will return with our final tiebreaker decide all question. We have a tiebreaker on our hands. Despite not having an actual tie, we are 2 to 4, with beer coming up victorious and wine being the most detrimental to your ability to answer trivia questions. We're going to a tiebreaker which could decide it all. The tiebreaker, and this goes to both of you, so just feel free to jump on in. What is a beer engine? What is a beer engine?
My ab.
It is A, the motorized mechanism that powers an electronic brewing system. B, an experimental car motor converted to run on beer engine. Or C, a manual pump used to dispense cask beers. A beer engine. A, the motorized mechanism that powers an electronic brewing system. B, an experimental car motor converted to run on beer. Or C, a manual pump used to disperse cask beers. The clock is ticking.
Beer engine.
Beer engine.
So, okay. What's beer per litre right now? Say you pick up a slab of DBX Book
No, you
Gold.
mean if you bought a jug?
Well, whatever.
Like a litre?
No, let's talk about the cheapest possible beer.
Okay.
Double brown.
Double brown.
What are we talking?
Ranfurly draft.
Rashes.
Yeah, double. Dos Cafe. Double brown.
I mean, I'm grappling with one part of that, which is what's more cheaper than petrol. So,
My soul. I have no idea. I think Alex was trying to give it away, so I'm going to say B.
There's an A, B, or C. It's either a beer engine is either a motorized mechanism that powers an electronic brewing system.
No.
So a beer engine is either a thing that motorizedly brews beers.
Yeah.
B, an experimental car motor that was converted to run on beer.
No,
It's a beer engine.
Not
Or
that.
C, a manual pump used to dispense cask beer.
Oh.
I don't know, and to be honest, I don't care.
I'm going to say I've already won, but it's C.
What a cunt.
You had a 1 in 3 chance of getting that right.
Yep. Did I get it right?
Well, the answer is C, a manual pump used to dispense cask beer. It turns
Fucking
out,
asshole. Don't laugh, children. Don't laugh.
Language.
well, What a predicament that turned out to be. Beer was best this day. Wine officially does the greatest harm. A predicament so great we were never going to get to the bottom of it in one go, so it's something we'll just have to examine in more detail at another date. But for now, I'll leave you with an excerpt from one more writer, one Friedrich Nietzsche. Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster, for when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
I'm scared. Thanks to Gerald Stewart, Scott Armstrong, and David Gear, none of which are on Instagram, luckily, so they won't see the photos of this episode's debauchery up on the podcast Instagram at What a Cat Productions. The opening theme music for this podcast is a derivative of The Little Hotel of Horrors by Detrimental, licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 4.0. What a Predicament is a What a Cat production. There's a website, and it's whatacat.co.nz. Oh man, I'm so high, I think we're gonna be sick. I can't believe it! I've been swept off the top of the sky tower by some type of huge bird. Now, I'm no ornithologist, but I think that's Aotearoa's own Haast's eagle, previously thought extinct. It's the largest eagle that ever lived, I tells ya. And this one's got me in its cruel claws. I'm not even afraid. What a way to go. What a story. My podcast ratings will surely see a spike. Thanks a lot, alcohol.
This is like the America's Cup, except less bullshit.